Welcome to Landorin, Commander. Dr. Martens will receive you soon. Meanwhile, I'll fill you in on what's been happening. Over the past few weeks, our compound has come under repeated attacks. Bandits from the Rebu Desert have established a base in a neighboring valley, from where they have been carrying out guerrilla-style attacks. Additionally, as of 12 hours ago, our planetary satellite network has failed, leaving us unable to monitor our enemy's movements. However, it's still unclear whether this was an accident or a deliberate act. I'm picking up a subspace transmission coming from General Duke, who has just returned to Dominion space after an expedition to Bikar. Comlink established.
Greetings, Commander. I wanted to speak to you before you meet Dr. Martens. He's, well, commendable, but he's also reckless, impulsive, and quite outlandish. Hence, I want you to closely watch his behavior. Months ago, the bulk of Epsilon's squadron was operating on Char, conducting classified research on the Zerg, but something went terribly wrong. Not only were their forces overrun by those critters, but their research lab was razed. Only Martens and a few other scientists survived the massacre. Epsilon Squadron never fully recovered from that incident, and the same goes for the Doctor. Chances are he might suffer from PTSD, in which case...
Sorry for being late, Commander, but I was discussing an important matter with my scientific team. I am deeply honored to meet you, and I hope our cooperation will be long and fruitful. I guess General Duke has informed you about our current situation. Those Rabu bandits have been hitting us for equipment and supplies every few days, and even though so far we have managed to defend ourselves, we could not mount a successful counterattack since our armored divisions were lost on Char. Yet we could be close to a turning point. Here at Epsilon Squadron, we like to think outside the cubicle. And we might have found a way to kill two birds with a stone, driving away the bandits and regaining our armored divisions by confiscating their hardware. It is with immense pride that I can announce that our K9Z unit is finally operational.
Hell no, you can't be serious. That's a freaking Roverlisk.
You are correct, General. We know that you encountered these beasts during your expedition to Bikar, and indeed, your reports gave us the inspiration to use Solanum to mutate stray dogs into these fierce shock troopers.
You've clearly lost your mind, Doc. And what the hell is Solanum?
That's how we nicknamed the Zerg hyper-evolutionary virus. We obtained it from the remnants of an infested Terran who led the Zerg incursion in our former research facility on Char.
But how in the world do you control them?
Psi emitters. When at full power, they have the ability to lure the Zerg to their signal. However, at lower modulations, they can be attuned to direct small groups of Zerg to a specific location. Currently, we have two emitters. One is mounted aboard my science vessel, and another one as backup, stored inside one of our maximum security depots.
That's intriguing and disgusting. You'd better hope nothing goes awry again, Martens. Feel free to dog-sit your monsters, but mark my words. I expect this K9Z unit, or whatever it is called, to be shut down for good as soon as you have defeated those bandits, you hear?
The doggos are unhappy with your ceaseless petulance, General Duke.
Well, all right then. Listen to me, Commander. Keep an eye on him.
Standing by. Go, go, go. Rock and roll.
Aren't they majestic? We can train up to 16 Roverlisks at once, but that's also the maximum number we can control at any given moment.
Forces are under attack.
Greetings, Command.
Your forces are under attack.
Receiving orders.
forces are under attack.
Something on your mind? I'll reach it, sir. Transmit orders. What do you want? Something on your mind? Reporting for duty. What do you want? No problem. What do you want? Yes, sir. Transmit orders. Receiving headquarters. We have your visual.
Imaging.
Reporting for duty. Yes, sir. Orders, Captain. Right away, sir. Orders received. Yes, sir. Orders, Captain. Yes, sir. What do you want?
Your forces are under attack.
I'm going. Greetings, Command. Yeah, I'm going. Reporting for duty. Orders received. Something on your mind?
Your forces are under attack.
I dig. Yeah, visual. I dig. Let's roll. Excellent. Let's roll. Ready to roll out. Commencing. Affirmative, sir. Let's roll. Transmit orders. Receiving destination. Delighted to serve.
Your forces are under attack.
Absolutely. Delighted to serve.
Your forces are under attack.
Rosa receiving headquarters. Absolutely. Receiving headquarters. Yes, sir.
Your forces are under attack.
Commencing. Orders, sir. Absolutely. Identify target.
Rotos equipment? There's definitely more to these ragamuffins than meets the eye.
We have you on visual. Transmit orders. We have you on visual. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Delighted to, sir. Yes, sir. Delighted to, sir. Identify target. Moving. Yes, sir. Orders, sir. Destination. Identify target. Yes, sir. Destination. Proceeding. Excellent. Receiving headquarters.
Receiving incoming transmission. Comlink established.
Congratulations, Doctor. You've got your armored divisions back. Now, no more bullshit. I want that yucky K9Z unit to be decommissioned at once.
This is intolerable. I have been personally authorized by Emperor Mengsk to carry out my
Your forces
experiments
are
with
under attack.
solanum and psi emitters.
Listen, Minsk is quite not an animalist. However, I'm pretty sure he isn't completely aware of what kind of freak show you've put on there. Now, don't test my patience any longer.
I will comply with your orders, General.
I knew it. Never send a Terran to do a Protoss job.
Or maybe you should just choose your allies more carefully. May I introduce myself? My name is Alan Schezar, and I've got something you might be interested in.
Don't you dare sneak up on me like that, puny human. Anyway, yes, I have been looking for that device for a while. Therefore, I hired these unworthy mercenaries. My goal is to subjugate the Zerg.
I actually managed to do so, once. It's a tough process, though. First of all, you would need to capture a cerebrate, but those brainy bugs are exceptionally rare. In any case, this psi emitter alone won't give you control over an entire brood.
Then you are of no use to me. Make peace with your gods.
Wait. Quite nervous, huh? What I meant was that you'll need some additional things, but I already have a plan for that.
If nothing else, I must admit that your stealth abilities are noteworthy. Not only did you spy on my activities without being detected, but you also managed to steal the psi emitter.
Well, Epsilon Squadron isn't exactly the cream of the crop within the Terran Dominion, militarily speaking. Their security protocols are average at best, so I bribed a couple of insiders who placed a tracking device on the psi emitter. Then, all I needed to do was to use my long-range teleport system, et voila. And by the way, I'm also responsible for the sabotage of Landorin's satellite network, leaving Epsilon Squadron helpless against an opponent like you. Trust me, you won't regret having me as an ally.